Look around you. We live in an era of unprecedented comfort. At the touch of screen, we can summon food from across the globe, access the entirety of human knowledge, and stream endless hours of entertainment directly into our homes. Our ancestors would look at our lives and assume we had finally built utopia. And yet, look closer. Beneath the glossy veneer of modern convenience, there is a quiet, pervasive hum of dissatisfaction. Rates of anxiety, depression, and existential dread are higher than ever. We have optimized our lives for pleasure, convenience, and above all, happiness. We are bombarded with self-help books, podcasts, and advertisements, all promising the same elusive prize. If you just buy this, achieve this, or think like this, you will finally be happy. But what if the very pursuit of happiness is exactly what's making us miserable? Welcome back to the Philosopher's Path. Today, we're going to challenge the greatest dogma of the 21st century, the idea that the ultimate goal of human life is to simply be happy. To understand why this modern obsession is fundamentally flawed, we need to walk the path laid out by some of the greatest minds in human history, from the ancient streets of Athens with Aristotle, to the Stoic courts of Marcus Aurelius, through the existential abysses of Nietzsche and Camus, and finally into the harrowing, transformative experiences of Viktor Frankl. We will discover that happiness is not a destination, it is a byproduct. And if you aim directly at it, you will miss it entirely. To understand our current predicament, we must first define what our modern culture actually means by happiness. Today, happiness is largely equated with pleasure, a continuous sequence of positive emotional states, and the absence of negative ones. It is rooted in hedonism. But there is a fatal flaw in human psychology when it comes to pleasure. It's a phenomenon that psychologists call hedonic adaptation, or the hedonic treadmill. Imagine you get a promotion, buy your dream car, or finally move into that beautiful house. For a few days, or maybe a few weeks, your happiness spikes. You feel a rush of euphoria. But very quickly, that new reality just becomes your life. The thrill fades. You return to your baseline level of happiness, and suddenly, you find yourself looking at the next promotion, the next car, the next upgrade. You are running on a treadmill, exhausting yourself, but spiritually staying in the exact same place. The 19th century German philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer understood this tragic flaw of human nature perfectly. Schopenhauer was a pessimist, but his observations were piercingly accurate. He believed that human life is driven by a restless, irrational force he called the will. Because of this will, we are constantly desiring things we do not have, and desire, by its very nature, is a state of lack. Therefore, desire is a form of suffering. As Schopenhauer famously said, life swings like a pendulum backward and forward between pain and boredom. When we want something, we suffer because we don't have it. When we finally get it, the satisfaction is fleeting, and we are quickly plunged into boredom and emptiness. If Schopenhauer is right, then a life dedicated merely to the pursuit of positive feelings is a life doomed to frustration. You cannot outrun the pendulum. So, if chasing happiness and pleasure is a trap, what is the alternative? For that, we must travel back over 2,000 years to ancient Greece. Long before modern psychology discovered the hedonic treadmill, the ancient Greek philosopher Aristotle recognized that a life built purely on momentary pleasure was fit only for grazing animals, not for human beings. In his foundational work, the Nicomachean Ethics, Aristotle asked a simple but profound question: what is the highest good for human beings? His answer was a word that is often translated into English as happiness, but this translation does us a massive disservice. The word Aristotle used was eudaimonia. Eudaimonia does not mean a fleeting state of joy or a good mood. It translates more accurately to human flourishing, or fulfilling your true potential. To Aristotle, everything in the universe has a function or a purpose. The function of a knife is to cut. The function of a knife is to cut. A good knife is one that cuts well. The function of an acorn is to grow into an oak tree. But what is the function of a human being? Aristotle argued that our unique function is our capacity for reason, and therefore a good human life is one lived in accordance with reason and virtue. Eudaimonia is not an emotion, it is an action. It is the continuous, lifelong pursuit of excellence. Think about the moments in your life when you felt the most profound sense of pride and completeness. Chances are, you were not sitting on a beach sipping a cocktail. Usually, our deepest moments of fulfillment come after periods of immense struggle. Studying for years to pass a difficult exam, raising a child through sleepless nights, building a business from the ground up. In the exact moments of doing these things, you probably weren't happy. You were stressed, exhausted, and anxious. But when you zoom out, those are the experiences that give your life weight. That is eudaimonia. It is the deep satisfaction that comes from knowing you are utilizing your potential and building your character. But building character requires us to face something modern society desperately tries to avoid: pain. If Aristotle gave us the target, human flourishing, the Stoics gave us the armor required to reach it. The Stoic philosophers, figures like Seneca, Epictetus, and the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, understood that a meaningful life is impossible without adversity. In fact, they believed that adversity was the very raw material required to forge a meaningful life. Modern culture treats suffering as a glitch in the system. We take pills to numb our sadness, we scroll on our phones to distract ourselves, and we view hardship as a sign that we're doing something wrong. The Stoics viewed this differently. Seneca once wrote, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." If you arrange your life to avoid all pain, discomfort, and failure, you are also arranging your life to avoid all growth. This brings us to the core of Stoic philosophy, the dichotomy of control. Epictetus taught that there are things up to us and things not up to us. We cannot control the economy, what other people think of us, or whether we get sick. But we can control our judgments, our values, and our responses to adversity. When you shift your goal from "I want to be happy" to "I want to be virtuous and resilient," a profound transformation takes place. Suddenly, an obstacle is no longer a tragedy. It is an opportunity to practice patience. A betrayal is an opportunity to practice forgiveness. A failure is an opportunity to practice humility. As Marcus Aurelius famously wrote in his private journal, "The impediment of action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." By abandoning the fragile pursuit of constant happiness, the Stoics found something much more durable: unshakable tranquility. But what happens when the adversity isn't just a daily annoyance? What happens when life presents us with suffering so immense, so absurd, that it threatens to break our very spirit? For that, we must turn to the existentialists. In the 19th and 20th centuries, philosophy took a dark turn. The Industrial Revolution, the decline of traditional religion, and the looming specter of 2 world wars left humanity staring into the void. Friedrich Nietzsche looked at the modern world and famously declared that God is dead. He wasn't celebrating, he was warning us. He realized that without a universal, pre-packaged meaning provided by religion or absolute truth, humanity would inevitably face a crisis of nihilism. If there is no grand design, then our suffering has no cosmic purpose. And yet, Nietzsche did not advocate for despair. He advocated for radical responsibility. Nietzsche introduced the concept of the overman, an individual who creates their own values in a meaningless world. To do this, Nietzsche argued we must embrace the concept of Amor Fati, the love of one's fate. Amor Fati means not just accepting the pain, loss, and tragedy of your life, but actively loving it. It is looking at the darkest, most agonizing moments of your past and saying, "I would not change a thing, because those moments built the person I am today." Decades later, the French-Algerian philosopher Albert Camus took this idea even further. Camus believed that human beings have a desperate desire for meaning, but the universe responds to us with absolute silence. He called this confrontation the absurd. To illustrate this, Camus used the Greek myth of Sisyphus. Sisyphus was condemned to push a massive boulder up a mountain, only to watch it roll back down for all eternity. It is the ultimate symbol of meaningless, endless suffering. But Camus makes a radical pivot. He says that the moment Sisyphus walks back down the mountain to retrieve the rock, fully aware of his tragic fate, fully aware that his task is meaningless, he becomes superior to his fate. By choosing to push the rock anyway, Sisyphus rebels against the absurdity of the universe. Camus concludes with one of the most powerful lines in modern philosophy. The struggle itself toward the heights is enough to fill a man's heart. One must imagine Sisyphus happy. Happiness, in the existential sense, is not the absence of the boulder. It is the defiant act of pushing it. It is one thing to discuss the philosophy of suffering in the comfort of a university classroom. It is an entirely different thing to test these theories in the darkest crucible of human history. In 1942, a brilliant Austrian psychiatrist named Viktor Frankl was arrested by the Nazis and sent to the concentration camps. Frankl lost everything. His pregnant wife, his parents, and his brother were all murdered. He was stripped of his life's work, his dignity, and his identity. Surrounded by starvation, disease, and the constant threat of the gas chambers, Frankl watched how his fellow prisoners reacted to unimaginable horror. Why did some men walk into the gas chambers with their heads held high, while others lost their minds or turned against their fellow prisoners? Frankl survived the Holocaust, and he wrote a book that would change the world, Man's Search for Meaning. In it, he concluded that the fundamental drive of humanity is the will to meaning. Frankl observed that the prisoners who lost their sense of meaning, who gave up hope for the future, were the first to die. But those who maintained a why to live for could survive almost anyhow. Frankl developed a new form of psychotherapy based on his experiences, called logotherapy. Its core tenet is profound in its simplicity. In some ways, suffering ceases to be suffering at the moment it finds a meaning, such as the meaning of a sacrifice. Frankl proved that we cannot always control what happens to us. We cannot control tragedy, illness, or malevolence. But he identified what he called the last of the human freedoms, the ability to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. If you are chasing happiness, a tragedy will destroy you, because tragedy destroys the conditions for happiness. But if you are chasing meaning, even tragedy can be transformed into a profound triumph of the human spirit. So, where does this leave us? We started by looking at a modern world obsessed with feeling good, terrified of discomfort, and frantically running on a treadmill of endless consumption. We have seen that this path leads only to the swinging pendulum of anxiety and boredom. The philosopher's path offers us a different way. It asks us to stop asking, what can life give me, and start asking, what is life demanding of me? Like Aristotle, we must pursue eudaimonia. We must strive to fulfill our potential and pursue excellence, even when it is difficult. Like the Stoics, we must build our inner citadel, recognizing that adversity is not the enemy of a good life, but the very forge in which a good life is built. Like Camus and Nietzsche, we must carry our boulders with defiance, embracing our fate and finding joy in the struggle itself. And like Viktor Frankl, we must realize that meaning is not something you magically find. It is something you actively create through your actions, your love, and the courage with which you face your suffering. Do not make happiness your goal. Happiness is a fickle companion. It comes and goes like the weather. Instead, aim for meaning. Take on responsibility. Bear your burdens nobly. Strive to be useful, to be kind, to be resilient. If you build a life of profound meaning, you will find that happiness will visit you often, not as a permanent resident, but as a beautiful, unexpected guest. And when the dark days come, and they will come, your sense of meaning will be the anchor that keeps you from being swept out to sea. Thank you for walking the philosopher's path with me today. If this message brought you value, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need to hear it. Until next time, seek meaning, embrace the struggle, and keep walking the path.